Now, a lot of people think that intensity is everything when it comes to exercise. You see this all over the internet. People tell you that the only way to get a good workout in today's world is to do what's called HIIT or HIIT exercise. And in order to perform HIIT exercise, you have to just go real hard when you're in the gym and get your heart rate as high as possible and do that in a sort of sawtooth pattern over the course of anywhere from 8 to 30 minutes. Okay. Or you can do something like going on a 10-mile run as fast as possible, or going on a 30-mile bike, but making sure that your heart rate is very high. So you can do all those things. And if you enjoy exercise and you want to get to high intensity, I encourage you. That's the way I like to exercise. But again, it is a choice. Okay. The problem with that type of exercise is that, number one, it's very physically demanding. It can increase your risk for many types of musculoskeletal injuries if you don't also combine it with a regular stretching regimen or what's called range of motion. Now, in addition to that, you can also feel quite exhausted after you have performed this type of exercise multiple times within a given week. And if you do that, then you just flat out feel less energy and less likely and less motivated to go exercise again. So what a lot of people say is they say, well, look, I'm exercising. In fact, I'm exercising harder than ever before, but yet I still can't lose weight. Have you felt this way? Do you feel this way? Because if so, raise your hand. There's millions of people who have been receiving the same type of information, diet and exercise. So they think to themselves, okay, cool. I'll make these tiny modifications here that may not even be the right modifications. And then I'll just go exercise more and I'll exercise harder. And that's going to be my key to success. And the answer is it can be your key to success, but you have to do it right. Okay. So one of the reasons why that can't work is because if you're trying to out-eat a low nutrient density diet, or you're trying to out-eat a diet that's high in calorie density, well, then you're setting yourself up for disaster because you're eating foods that are high in calorie density. Then you're trying to exercise even harder. And the net result is that you don't really change in your energy balance. Okay. So let me ask you a simple question. Which one would you rather do? Would you either eat 20% less food, or would you rather work out 20% more? It's up to you. You can do whatever you want. And a study published by researchers at Washington University in St. Louis tried to answer a very simple question. They conducted a 1-year randomized control trial in middle-aged lean men and in overweight men and women to evaluate the effect of a body fat reduction induced by one of two things: either increasing your energy expenditure by 20%, which means moving your body 20% more, or by a 20% decrease in energy intake, which means restricting your calorie intake. And then the output was to determine what types of changes that would induce in cardiovascular health. And what they found was actually that a 12-month negative energy balance induced by reducing your calorie intake by 20%, achieved through calorie restriction, results in the same magnitude as improvements to cardiovascular health that you would get by exercising 20% more. So effectively, reducing your intake by 20% or exercising 20% harder gets you approximately the same risk reduction in future chronic disease risk when related to cardiovascular health. So you get a choice. You know that reducing your calories by 20% is effectively equivalent to increasing your calorie expenditure by 20%. Which one would you choose? There is no right answer. Personally, I would take the latter choice, which is to exercise more, because here's why. I love to exercise and I don't really love to restrict my food intake. Okay. I'd rather move my body 20% more, and that is a conscious decision. But regardless of which choice you decide that you want to take, the best option is to perform between 30 and 60 minutes of exercise per day over the course of a 7-day period, rather than trying to do a lot of exercise a few times per week. Okay. And that brings us to our third major tip, which is to spread out your exercise. Okay. Elevating your heart rate is necessary. And yes, it does burn calories, but shorter bouts of exercise more frequently leads to a higher total volume of exercise over the course of a 7-day period. And that's going to help you stimulate weight loss as long as you don't continue to eat more and more and more in order to compensate for that increased activity. Okay. Now remember this, maintaining a 300 to 500 calorie deficit per day is sufficient to promote consistent weight loss. You're not trying to develop a very large gap in energy deficit. You're trying to create between 300 and 500 calories per day of exercising a little bit more and moving your body just a little bit more and not eating just as much. And so if you can create that 300 to 500 calorie gap, okay, then that's going to help you lose weight today and also keep that weight off in the future. The key number when you're working out in particular for weight loss is to usually think about your overall time spent active, right? It's not about how hard you exercise. It's about the total volume of exercise that you perform over the span of approximately a 7-day period. Okay. So try and commit to moving your body for about 30 minutes per day or closer to 45 to 60 minutes per day. And when you get some experience under your belt, exercising for 45 to 60 minutes per day is going to feel great. It's going to get you the exact results you're looking for. It's going to help you keep your weight down. It's going to help you feel very active and very limber in your body. And that's exactly what we're going for. This video was just a snippet of a much more in-depth discussion. Click on the link on the screen to check out the full-length episode. Now, the science behind health is overly complicated, unfortunately, but getting healthy doesn't have to be. Visit masteringdiabetes.org/start. Answer some questions about yourself and schedule a free consultation to talk with somebody on our team who's going to show you exactly how we've transformed the lives of thousands of people using the Mastering Diabetes method. We have a limited number of spots available, and that's why it's imperative to find a good fit. Again, visit masteringdiabetes.org/start to schedule a free zero commitment discovery call and start taking control of your health today.